Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, we're very close to taking off to head up to Eugene, Oregon to see Bo over at Metalworks Paint and Rust Removal. That's where Ruby's going to get stripped. Bo has offered to get some footage of Ruby going in and out of the tanks and getting cleaned. Obviously, I can't hang around and get any footage for you. You know, they're going to let public back there where all the work's being done. But he's offered to get some footage, so hopefully that works out. So we'll have something to put together on this video. So let's just go take a look. We got Ruby up in the trailer. A friend of mine was very gracious, loaned me his trailer for this long trip. So let's go check out Ruby up in the trailer, all tightened down and ready to go. All right, there she is, just about ready to go. I got the doors strapped down to the floor so they don't bounce around. Got a board in between so they don't bang into each other. So that's pretty solid. And she is strapped down. She's still on the cart, so you know, she's gonna be able to roll in and out, but she's in here pretty good. And then the fender's up in the interior here. And in the trunk, I've got the A-pillar covers and the nose piece and some other small pieces, the windshield wiper cowl, stuff like that. Then I just put the deck lid back where it belongs and put a strap over it so it doesn't bounce off or bounce around. So, and then the inner fender wells I have right behind it. Let's walk around. Well, I'll show you that. Okay, the inner fender wells are just back behind some sort of rack brace thing they've got here. And then I just got her strapped down really good. Pretty confident she's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to drop her off Monday morning with Bo and then leave the trailer there. He's gracious enough to let me store the trailer in his yard. And then I will take off for Idaho for about a week. A buddy of mine there, he has a nice place and he wants me to paint a golf cart for him too. So I probably won't shoot video on that, but just kind of relax and wait for Ruby to be stripped down to bare steel. So I'm pretty excited. Okay, we got a pretty long drive ahead of us to get to where we need to be. Check in for the night and get up first thing in the morning, drop Ruby off. Let's get on the road. Okay guys, we're here. Dropped off Ruby. They're going to put her in the tank later this afternoon. Got other little cars sitting around everywhere. So hopefully, next time we see this, she'll be stripped down to bare steel. Okay, let's take one last look at Ruby before she gets stripped naked. Now, you know, you guys know I've owned this car over 30 years. Had it when I was a kid. It's been a California car all its life, as far as I know. So I'm not expecting any huge, you know, surprises, big holes, and you know, a bunch of rust that I wasn't aware of. So I think we're going to have a few surprises. I don't think they're going to be very big, but you know, that's why you get these things dipped, so you know what's going on. Okay, here she is going into the alkaline solution. Now this tank is heated. I think they keep it right around 200 degrees, maybe a little bit over, just under boiling. And what that does, it increases the effectiveness of the alkaline solution to strip the paint. Now, if you guys look right there, I think you guys can see a eucalyptus leaf that hitchhiked all the way from my house, even though I tried to keep them out of there. One made it all the way to Eugene, Oregon. So they lower in nice and slow to make sure all the air bubbles can get out and that the car does not float. You guys notice there's just one bar going through where the back window is and just a chain, and they've got like a heavy-duty wire that keeps it balanced so it doesn't tip. But that's the way they lift it, and there's a forklift with a load bar on it, and you know, that's how they move them around and lift them in and out of the tank to make sure they're nice and safe. Now you guys notice that gold stuff floating on the surface right there? That is actually the base coat for the candy. So you spray a silver or gold underneath your candy, that is the lacquer base. Now I did that all in lacquer back in the day. That was a million years ago. There wasn't modern paint like there is now, but you can see it's already starting to dissolve off just within seconds. And you know, you guys know how lacquer paint jobs just didn't hold up back in the day, and you can see why here. They're just not very chemically resistant, and they just really didn't hold up well. I mean, today's paint is just so much tougher, but this paint should come off really well, and I think that's going to help strip this car faster. Now you notice a little shiny spot there, right there where the A-pillar meets up there a little bit. That is actually some of the gold base, and you'll see it once it goes under, it'll start to blister almost immediately from this chemical. And you can see the gold floating right there. So here she goes. You guys look in the background, you'll see a Pontiac Firebird. So they had a couple of Pontiacs at the stripper, and you can see that starting to blister right there. Hey Ruby, we'll see you later. Bye bye paint. Here she goes. Okay, this is after they lifted the car Ruby out, and this is the first dip. Now that's just a high pressure like super garden hose right there. You can tell it's putting out a lot of water, and you can see the gold underneath. Now that chemical got between the polyurethane, the red with polyurethane, and ate it. You can see a sheet of it hanging over the back window. Now see the gold? That's that lacquer base. And that chemical got in there and released it from that brown sealer. Now, I'm pretty sure I did not apply that brown sealer. That's probably the factory stuff. And then just got in between there and released it. So here they are getting after it with the super industrial pressure washer. That thing puts out a lot of PSI and a lot of gallons per minute. And it just really gets after that paint. And that chemical softens it up. It may not just come off with the hose, but you hit it with this thing, and it comes off. That'll probably strip the skin off your hand really quick if you're not careful. So they get a really good job of getting all the nooks and crannies, getting everything blown out. And you guys remember how much time we spent cleaning Ruby to make sure there was nothing that piled down in the nooks and crannies, so all those chemicals and everything can get down where they're supposed to and start eating right away. And so they just sped it up for them, and that way Ruby comes out that much nicer. So she's getting a good bath right here. Now, the floorboards didn't have a lot of paint on it, but there was a lot of glue and some seam sealers and stuff. So when they get over on that, you can see how quickly it comes clean. And you know, that thing is not blowing big holes in my floor, which is pretty nice. I know a lot of cars, you know, in the Midwest and East, you know, they rust out pretty bad, but we're pretty fortunate out here. And look how clean that's coming, guys. It's just really nice to see. Really nice to see. You know, it's going to be so great to work on her in such a pristine, clean state. So I'm really happy the way she's coming out. So here she is going in the acid dip for the first time. Now this is phosphoric acid, guys. Now it is actually neutralizing that alkaline base. So if anybody tells you, oh, if you have your car dipped, it's going to leach out of the seams and it's going to ruin your paint job later, you know, a year later or whatever, that's totally untrue. Now that alkaline solution is neutralized by acid. So this is actually sitting in a vat of acid. It's getting it in every nook and cranny. It's neutralizing that alkaline. Not to mention they went after it with that huge hose and the pressure washer. So anything that's left will be certainly neutralized by this phosphoric acid. Now notice how full that tank is, guys. They lower this thing in nice and slow to make sure all the air gets out, but also probably to make sure that tank doesn't overflow. That's about an inch from the top. I can't believe how full it is, but they go really slow. Take care of your car. They don't drag it on the sides. They really take their time, and you can see the bubbles coming out, and then you'll see that hole again that they drilled about 4 inches from the windshield right there in the center, and that just lets the air out, make sure that acid gets up in everywhere. And off she goes down in the phosphoric acid. Not sure what the black stuff is floating on the surface. When I worked at the chrome shop, we used mostly muriatic acid and sulfuric acid. We never had anything like that going on, but it's probably something from the car. There she goes. Okay, bye-bye rust. No more rust on Ruby. Okay, so I do know they dipped Ruby twice in the phosphoric acid, Now I do, from what Bo told me, one of his guys called him and said, hey, I got the GTO out and I'm not happy, she's just not clean enough. So he said, all right, go ahead, put her back in. And that's the kind of guys these guys are, you know, instead of just saying, hey, he gets what he gets, you know, that's good enough. They went the extra mile and they did it right, which I really appreciate. You know, I drove a long way to get Ruby to him, and I really appreciate him doing doing a good job for us. And you guys can see already how clean she is, but they decided, you know what, it's a good idea to lower in one more time. And this phosphoric acid, it will eat rust, and sure, it will eat steel eventually, but it will attack the rust first, and so it's not like going to ruin your good steel. So don't worry about that. They're putting it back in. I don't know how long they left her in, but they decided it was a better idea just to put her back in and clean her off. Now, it will eat aluminum, will eat pot metal, so you have to make sure you have everything, you know, stripped off the car. Otherwise, it'll just fall off. So here she is coming out for the last time. And super clean. You can see right there where the window channel is, where the windshield is. It came out super clean. Everything else looks really good. The quarter panel we just put on looks really nice. Back where the filler panel goes, that was rusted. Remember how rusted that was? Look how good it looks now. So I'm super happy. Look at the interior. It's just gorgeous. We're gonna have to fix that shifter hole, but you know, that's gonna be easy peasy now she's nice and clean. Just draining out really nice, and there's that hole you see in the rocker right there they drilled. And you know, you guys remember how much trouble I had to get all that mouse poop and all the stuff they stuffed in there out of that rocker. So if I'd have known, I could have drilled the hole and made my life easier, but I didn't know. So here we are rinsing her off for the last time from the phosphoric acid, and they get after it with the same pressure washer and do a really good job underneath, all around, and just really rinse her really well. And the key to this is, once they're done rinsing, they get after it right away, and they blow off the car to make sure there's no standing water or anything, and it's not dripping anywhere. And then they have these really big like turbo heaters. I think they're natural gas. They could be propane, and they set those out there, and they just blast your parts with heat to dry the car as fast as possible. That way it doesn't flash rust. So these guys are really professionals. I really appreciate Bo and the guys. They did a fantastic job for me. Okay guys, been a whole week and we're back at Metalworks paint and rust removal. And it looks like they already got the trailer out for me, so let's get Ruby. Alright guys, here's Ruby, all stripped. That's Bo back there with the trunk lid. These guys did fantastic work on her. Look how nice and clean she is. Everything looks great. Inner fender wells. Everywhere. Look down inside here, guys. Look how clean that is. Like brand new. Pretty stoked about how good she looks. No big rust holes popped up. Looks really good. Trunk lid is fantastic. Doors, I got all the body filler off that one door. See the holes right there. And all the small parts. So Metalworks paint and rust removal. These guys do fantastic work. Really appreciate it. Alright guys, we got a ways to go. It's Mount Shasta. Still got a long drive ahead of me. But Ruby's in the back all stripped and we're heading home. Okay guys, it was about a 12-hour drive. I am tired. Oh, there's somebody by the gate waiting for me. He's a good boy. Alright, let's park this thing. We'll check it out in the morning. Okay, I got a good night's sleep. Let's go and get Ruby out. Now it rained on me for about 10 miles on the way back. Hopefully this trailer doesn't leak. It wasn't too awful hard, but and then it it was super hot anyway, so I know it would dry right away. But it looks good. I got to put some gloves on before I handle anything. You don't want to handle bare steel with your bare hands. My hands are always dry from all the work I do. I mean, they're dry as a popcorn fart. They're always like that because all the body work I do. But I could still get some oils on it and cause it to flash rust. So I'll put some gloves on and we'll roll this thing out, and then we'll get it over by the shop and we'll take a look at it. All right, let's see if we can get it rolled out by myself. It's all gravity, right? It's a little tight squeeze. Right. Whew. Okay. She looks beautiful. I love it. I can't wait to work on a clean car for once in my life. Let's roll it down a little bit and we'll get all the parts out and take a look at them. Okay guys, here she is, all nice and clean, but we gotta kind of hurry and get her in the shop because we got some clouds forming over here and I don't want to take a chance. So the inner fender wells came out really good. The exterior is looking beautiful. The underside of them, I think I stripped those when I worked at the chrome shop, and I probably didn't prep and protect the underside like I should, and so they re-rusted and they're pretty pitted, but you know, it's the underside. We'll clean that up really good and make sure we do it right this time. Now the door, here's the one that had all that slide hammer work done to it. I don't know guys, we'll figure out what we're gonna do. I'm gonna try to straighten that sheet metal, but if not, we'll put a skin on there. You know, it's going to be nice one way or the other. Now the inside of the doors came out really clean. You guys can see up inside there. Super clean, really nice. A little bit of rust here and there. You're going to see a little bit of undercoating, maybe a little bit of paint here and there. I mean, they do the best they can, and like I told you before, they just can't keep putting it back in the tank for, you know, a 50-cent piece size of paint or something. They have to move on. Now they had a whole yard full of cars, and I thought they were just storing them, but nope, they were scheduled to go in the tank. So they are hopping over there. They got to get the, you know, jobs in and out of the tanks as fast as possible. So the trunk lid came out beautiful. Now that trunk lid on the inside was full of rust flakes and all kinds of stuff. It was rattling around. I hosed it out, shook it out the best I can. Nothing rattling and shaking out now. It is clean on the inside and out. A little shot of the back side for you there. Okay, and then the body, no super big surprises. There's a hole here I wasn't expecting. I was expecting some of these rust spots where it ate through right here. I was figuring we were going to have to repair that anyway, so that's not that big a deal. 8-pillar covers, windshield wiper, glove box, windshield wiper cowl, and some parts that go on the fender. So, and inside this trunk, look at this. Look how clean this is. Everywhere. So all that seam sealer, remember all the stuff we drug out of there? Now look how deeply cleaned it is. Looks really good. And that quarter panel we just put on, looks like it belongs there. So it came out really clean everywhere except for a few little spots, but it's no big deal. And you know, like down in here, we have to clean that up a little bit better. A few spots over here. I mean, that's nothing to do. And of course, we already had that hole over there and that big hole over there. It didn't really get much bigger, so that's kind of a plus. The quarter panel we just put on looks great. The front fenders are inside. I'm gonna leave them inside. We're just gonna roll this thing in the shop. The interior came out super clean. Really happy. The dash looks great. Everything looks great. All the seam sealer looks like it came out, as far as I can tell. The firewall looks really clean. Now see, these gaps were all full of seam sealer. And look how good a job. Now we prepped it really well, and they really came through for me and did a great job. So there are a few rust holes that I wasn't expecting. I knew there was one over here somewhere, but we've got some over there. I can see some light shining through, and but it's no big deal. We can fix that super easy. but the interior came out really nice. The other corner panel looks really good. No surprises. Here's a little paint left behind for some reason, you know, but no big deal. We'll take that off. It's super easy. But really, this quarter panel looks beautiful. And there's the leading. That's how it looked when they were done at the factory before. No sanding by me or anything. That's how it looked. So I don't want to touch anything because my hands are bare, but it looks really good. Okay guys, it was a long haul to get this done, but to me it was worth it. It's just well worth it. But I got to roll this thing in the shop, get her protected, and I got to return that trailer. I want to get back to them as soon as I can. So let's get this thing in the shop and wrap this up. Okay guys, that pretty much wraps up this video on getting Ruby dipped over up at Metalworks Paint and Rust Removal. Bo and his crew did an excellent job with Ruby. They took really good care of her, and I know they went the extra mile to make sure she was super clean for me, and I really appreciate it. The cost was $2,800 to dip her, so that was including everything you guys have seen. So if you're going to do it and you have a hood, I didn't send a hood because I'm getting a new one. You know, you can figure right around $3 grand for a GMA body about this size. Now, Bo does have price list up on his website, so I will include a link in the description to their website so you can kind of peruse it and see what kind of costs it may run into. Now, I've never done a car that's been dipped. I've done cars that have been media blasted, or I've done cars that have been sandblasted. Never done a car that's been dipped. So I'm pretty excited about getting going on this thing. It was a lot of dirty, filthy work to get ready just to go. And the best part about all this, I'm not dealing with all that dirt and dust and rust and mouse poop and all the other crap that's left inside these cars. It's clean inside and out. Parts you can't even see are clean. So that's really what I wanted for Ruby, is to be just a fresh start for this car. It's been so long, 30 years, so she really deserves it, and I think I deserve it too after all these years. So the next steps for this car will be talking about where we go from here. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I'm going to stand around the car with a beer in my hand, walk around it about 100 times, thinking about what I need to do, what I'm going to do, and what I'm not going to do. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Mash that bell, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think of Ruby with no paint on her. We'll see you on the next one.